I think we've waited long enough to pay the kind of attention to senior housing that is deserving of our local residents. It, of course, we know that the population is aging. We know that in the Sudbury area, we have an awful lot of people who are approaching the age where living in a house is going to be a little more difficult because of the maintenance and because of what you have to do to take care of everything. I don't really think it's a matter of affordability, however. There's a lot of people, a lot of seniors who are living in a house now. They're going to find that the municipal taxes and the cost of upkeep of a house is just getting out of reach. They will not be able to continue to maintain their house. But I know that in discussing this issue with a lot of people in Valley East, the issue is not that people need low rent apartments, or they need low rent alternatives, or they need subsidized housing. The issue for many people is that they're sitting in a house that they've paid the mortgage, they've got a lot of equity, they really don't want to stay in the house any longer because they would like to possibly move to a condominium or an apartment or a senior complex. And it's not a matter of the fact that they can't afford to live in an alternative housing environment. There just isn't anything to go to. They don't want reduced rent. They want a place where they can rent, where the quality is going to be sufficient to meet their needs, and recognize the fact that they want to live in comfort. So as a city, I think it really becomes incumbent now upon the councillors to sit down and say, how are we going to be able to stimulate more construction of apartments and condominiums that will allow people living in houses to move out of their houses, free up those houses, which for the most part are probably older houses. I'm living in one that is about 45 years old. It's not old. It's still in great shape, but it's not a house that would go on the market for $400,000. It's a house that if I was to sell, might sell for $180,000 or $200,000. That's an entry level for an awful lot of young families that are moving into the area. We don't have enough of those houses available. And if we had more options for the seniors that would allow them to live in comfort and live with quality, then they may sell the house they're living in, move into these apartments, which are much easier to take care of, or these condominiums, and it would free up houses now for other people to buy at a different entry level, at a different price point. And I think we really have to start taking a look at the fact that if we don't provide a place for seniors to move into if they sell their house, then they're going to move out of the area. And if their children have had to move out of the area because of the lack of employment, the lack of opportunity, as a grandparent, seniors are going to, if they have to move out of their house, they'll move closer to their grandchildren. And if we don't provide a place for them to live where they will be able to sell their existing house, move into an apartment, if we don't provide that option for them, we'll start to see them leaving. Those houses are going to open up, but the seniors are going to be leaving. And the seniors do add an awful lot to our economy. So we can't afford to see them leaving either. So I really do think that the senior housing shortage has to be addressed. Obviously, we need to take a look at low rent housing to accommodate the needs of people who are not able to afford to live in expensive apartments and expensive condominiums. We have to subsidize to provide them with a decent quality of life as they're getting older. But at the same time, we have to generate more construction of apartment buildings and apartment units and condominiums, period. And that means we may have to start taking a look at giving an incentive for contractors to build them, because right now I believe that contractors will tell you that to put up an apartment unit, it's just not cost effective for them, and they would rather put up a number of different single family dwelling houses and go that route instead of the apartment. So we do have to take a look at the senior housing issue, and I think it's something that we have to spend a lot of time on.